and we headed outside. We wanted to get out of the big city, and we were looking for slice of life stuff in the countryside. And you know, it's everywhere. It was so fun just to stop and talk to a shepherd. It's a scene right out of ancient times, you know. And we had a good time filming that. And then we went to a village called Abiana, and very hot and dusty sort of world. This town was quite famous with tourists for having 2 different knockers on every door. And one knocker was for men, and one knocker was for women. And I thought, well, what's with that? And then I learned, well, if you're a woman inside and you hear the knock and it's a woman, great, get up and answer the door. No problem. If it's a man, you got to get all fixed up in order to answer the door. So it's just a very practical way to tell who's knocking. In this town, I was having so much fun with the people. And I'm telling you, it was just a delight to be on the streets of Iran. And in this village, I'll never forget the tourists from Tehran, the wealthy, big-time local tourists were coming to this village just like we were. And the Iranian tourists, they were kind of put off because the villagers would not let the big city Iranians take their photograph, but they would love to take their photograph with an American. And they're all just clowning around with me in America and so on. And it was just very interesting, the dynamic there. But we found a nice welcome wherever we went. People in Iran love to put out flags. There's flags everywhere. And what they do is they have huge collections of flags. And I think it's their way of just excluding the United States, Britain, and Israel. I noticed the only time you see an American flag is on a mural, one of those things I just showed you. I mentioned that because of the American embargo, there's no international banking, so they've got ATMs, but they're only for local people. There's a lot of rials in $1. 10,000 rial equals $1. So I think $100 makes a million rial then. And this is Abdi, our tour guide and my friend. And I was amazed when he paid hotel bills. It was like, how many zeros are you counting there? And Abdi, we'd count it double and everything. And Abdi explained to me that the country doesn't mint big bills, local banks do or something, and you got to make sure it's for real. And one way to tell is you rub the number, and the heat of your finger makes the number disappear, and then it comes back, and that would be not counterfeit. Here we have the greatest view from a sightseeing point of view, I would say, in all of Iran. This is the great Imam Square in Isfahan. Clearly the most exciting city to see in Iran if you're a sightseer. Glorious tile mosques, wonderful Grand Bazaar. A lot of people have been to the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul. This puts that to shame because there's nothing for tourists. It's all just for real people doing their real shopping. And you go through here and it's just a carnival of color and fragrance and friendly people and, you know, people just doing their chores. Persian carpets, great opportunity. Real frustrating for them because they'd love to sell them to America, but it's very tough with the embargo. There's creative ways to get around it, but this embargo is for real for Iran. But you look at the people and you just feel, I want to be this man's friend. I just really want to understand these people. I was impressed in Iran how there's not that many little places to eat and drink. You go to a huge mall or a bazaar and it's hard to find any place to sit down and eat or drink. And I don't quite know why, but we had to look carefully to find little tea houses hiding away where we could sit down and take a little break. Part of it is just there's not a lot of extra money floating around for that kind of thing. Now here we have Abdi and Syed discussing something. And this for me was really interesting because we wanted to get all the good stuff and we had to, Syed was on our side, but he was also, he had to explain what's possible and what's not. Because it's complicated. It's just, you know, you're an international film crew, you can't go in there and so on. And one of the big deals for me, I wanted to shoot a prayer service. I mean, the odd thing when you're in Iran, it's not that clear that this is a theocracy. You don't see a lot of minarets. You don't hear a call to prayer like you do in Istanbul or Morocco. It's kind of odd. And when I look at the people, this is just my take on this, I thought it was very ironic. They've got a top-down, ordained theocracy. You've got to be faithful, you know? And I felt there was a lot of lip service to the religion. I didn't feel a vibrant, strong, grassroots kind of faith like I felt in other secular Islamic countries where I just felt a lot of strong, from the heart or from the gut, Muslim faith. I'm not sure about this, but I do think there's an interesting irony. If you are a passionate Christian and you wish everybody thought like you did and you had a chance to make your government a Christian government so the kids would have to pray in school and they'd all have to dress right and everybody would celebrate the same holidays because you care about people's salvation, I'm just telling you, I think the ironic result of that is you'd have a country that was less faithful than if you just educated people and gave people reason to live their lives the way God wanted them to be lived. That's the beauty of the separation of church and state, even if you're a Christian ideologue, And that's the pragmatic rightness of the separation of mosque and state if you're a Muslim ideologue. Interesting to think about.